Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori and I'm the face behind Entretejidos Crochet, where we talk about a lot of things, mostly crochet related, although we do also talk about some scrapbook things as well. Today's video will be a vlog of a week where I focus on, I'm calling it keepsake makes. Yeah, keepsake makes, although that doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue. What I mean by this is that I was commissioned to make a loaf dog to commemorate, to like remember a dog that passed away. Also, I am an auntie again, so I'm making a plushie for the baby with embroidered eyes. I don't know how to properly embroider them, but I'm taking you along for the ride in learning how to do that. And also I plan on working on a blanket because I started a blanket, I believe last summer. I made a lot of headway. It's pretty long, but I still need to finish it. And I would like to do so, maybe not finish it this week, but actually work on it throughout the week in little like bits and pieces here and there. That's the plan for this video. However, last week was a bit of a chaotic week where I tried to crochet for 24 hours, not 24 hours straight, but 24, like over the course of 24 hours. I'll link the video somewhere around here and it'll be linked in the description box. And in that video, I finished pattern tasks. I painted safety eyes. I also designed a new pattern, and the craft room shows. Like, there was a struggle. There was like a crochet struggle here. So we're going to tidy things up. I am going to rewind rewind some of the, the cakes of yarn that I used throughout the week, put them away, kind of organize my area here. And then we're going to sit down and work on, I'm gonna start off with the loaf dog commission and then work my way over to the gift that I'm going to make my niece, and we'll go from there. But wait, before we go into hyperspeed of organizing and tidying up, I want to show you the second make from my Lolita Ladybug pattern. So in last week's video, I showed you, this is Lolita. Oops, her antenna is a bit wobbly. This is Lolita. She is a ladybug. As I mentioned in that video, I am not big on bugs, but after designing my Bonita butterfly, I was like, wait, let's make some bugs. And since spring is just around the corner, I think it's kind of fitting. So after designing Bonita butterfly, this is Lolita Ladybug, and I have, I believe, like 3 more bugs, not in the works, but already thought up, and they'll be slowly releasing because I believe it was in October or November. I don't remember if it was October or November that I came out with Katie Cake Turtle, which is like this cake, dessert, everything sort of pattern. And I'm coming back with something similar, but the add-ons are going to be spring themed. So far I'm thinking flowers, I'm thinking little tiny bugs, I'm thinking of chocolates and candies and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. But after designing Lolita Lolita Butterfly, Lolita Ladybug, I am already working on that turtle. And I'm adding a few little frills, a few little goodies here and there. But once I'm done with that, I'll get back to designing these bugs because I might be biased, but they're cute. They're really cute. So this is like the prototype, and then this is the tweaked version. I wanted the body to be very, very rounded, just so that it's so very chunky. And look at her, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Here's a side-by-side comparison. It's like, Lori, it's the same thing, but I know the difference, if that makes sense. So yeah, so that's what I also worked on, and you know, it shows on my desk and in my work area. So now let's fast forward into how I'm going to tidy up this entire mess, and I'll check back in after I started working on the dog loaf. So I'm actually laughing at myself because, as you saw, we put everything away. I grabbed my yarn to start crocheting the loaf dog, and I was just in the zone, and I'm about to start the decrease rounds, and I haven't even talked to you through it all of like how this came about, why am I choosing these color changes and whatnot. So a bit of a backstory. My sister-in-law reached out to me about a week ago to see if I could make a commission. So back in October, I gifted my brother a loaf cat, and I'll pop it over here, and I designed her. I used the Annie Caraway's pattern, the viral loaf cat pattern, but I tweaked the color changes to match my brother's cat, Leia, who had passed away, I believe, earlier this year or late last year. Well, earlier 2024 or late 2023. And he really loved that cat, and I kind of wanted to make him a little, you know, a little keepsake, a little reminder of his cat. So my sister-in-law reached out and asked if I could make a similar piece, but this time it would be a dog. And it was because a friend of hers, her dog had passed away on New Year's Eve, and it was like her lifelong dog. So I said yes, and my sister-in-law sent me over a couple of pictures, and I used those pictures to adjust and place all the color changes. Now I'm using a mixture of parfait chunky with little bunny, and I am going to add this sort of faux fur yarn. This is from Lion Brand, if I'm not mistaken, for the tips of the ears, because the dog, it seems to me like the dog is a mix of like a border collie and a heeler sort of situation. I don't really know, but I mean, I'm no dog expert, but that's what it looks to me. And she had like this sort of fluffy, not fluffy, but hairy, lots of long-ish hair towards the front of like her front paws, her head, her ears. But the back side was more non-hairy. I am so technical with these words, but that's what I'm using to inspire. Also, her paws were a mixture of, they started out in like black, then they would change to like this caramel color, and the paws would be kind of like this creamish white color. So that's what we have here. I know it like, as I'm starting it out, it doesn't look like much, but this is the snout, and I'm using Parfait Chunky in black and Little Bunny in a black as well. I forgot the names of the colors, to make the front kind of fluffy. And then I dropped the Little Bunny so that the backside is more in Parfait Chunky, so that you can see like the front part is kind of fluffy and here not so much. And here are the legs with the color changes. And I don't know, like, you would not believe, like, even though, yes, I got into the zone, this is what I'm making, this is what I'm gonna use, I struggled with like, okay, so how am I going to make her? And if you have Annie Carteret's loaf dog pattern, the fact that it has 14 different dog patterns, and it has, I believe it's like 58 pages, it was a bit overwhelming. But once I started it was coming around. Now I am going to have to pause for a bit because I need to paint the safety eyes. I'm going to use pumpkin spice latte from my colors to pop them in, because the dog's eyes are kind of that reddish brown color. But yeah, that's the next thing that I need to do, to paint the safety eyes, pop them in, and then start decreasing, start stuffing. And then all that I would have to do is add the final details, like the snout, and add these stitch markers are for placing the ears, and add this fluffy stuff, this fluffy fur yarn at the tips so that it mimics the dog well. So I'll get to that, and since I'm very much in the mood, I'm in the zone, I'll just check back in later so as not to be like completely ignoring you. So check back in soon. Look! I love it! It's so chunky! So as I mentioned, I did the fluffy ear detailing part. The front part is slightly fluffy, the back part not so much. Ooh, I need to, yeah, those little, yeah, good thing, because like right here I can't really see them, but on camera they are coming up. So I'm just gonna run some black yarn through them so that, yeah, no, we need to cover those up. But for the most part, she's done, and these are the pumpkin spiced latte eyes that I was mentioning, and it was actually a good thing that I decided to paint them now. Apart from the fact that I want to finish this, it's also because, but my UV lamp died. And like it wasn't running on all cylinders. I tried changing the cables. I tried maybe checking, because sometimes, and it's happened with the charger for the camera that I typically film on, sometimes the port or even the cable gets a bit of the polyfill or even just like the fluffies on it, and then it doesn't make enough contact with it. So I thought that was the case, but no, I tried, I changed it. I went, like I puffed, I know you're not supposed to do that, but I puffed on into like the port and on the cable, and nothing happened. Just to paint this set of eyes, it took me 15 minutes, and most of it was that I would turn the machine on and then run it. Like, I placed it as close as possible to the eyes to make sure that it cured properly, and then I would have to turn over the eyes. So typically when I paint my eyes, they lay down like this and the UV hits them at the top. But this time, since the lamp wasn't working, I had to flip them on their stem, maybe it's a stem, and then run it over here to ensure that everything was sealed. The thing is that I noticed it now, and I should have a new machine in the next couple of days, hopefully, because I've already started getting safety eye orders from my recent drop. Well, not drop. Added some new eyes to my Etsy. If push comes to shove and I'm running a bit late, I'll just like message the buyers and tell them like, hey, you know, it's gonna be a day later or so. I'll just include a few extra safety eyes just for like the inconvenience. But this one is all done, except for the tushy part that I'm going to have to fix now. So I know that I said that I was going to work on a bunny now, but I kind of want to work up another ladybug. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll just see. We'll just see. Because I also want to do the bunny, and the bunny is using Mama Made Minnie's book. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I'll check back in later. It's been 2 days. The last update was on Wednesday, and the little snippets of video footage that you saw were taken Thursday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken, and today it's Saturday. I kind of had to take a little hiatus because, well, it's not even a hiatus, because I got sick. I'm feeling better now, but this is like a kind of weird cold. I don't know, it's just like right now, I don't know if you can tell, I'm really congested, but then throughout the day I might get fever and I might get chills, and I don't know, but I'm doing well. I'm doing better, and it's time to recap everything I've been doing in the meantime. And I kind of need an intervention. So the last update that I gave you, I was struggling to decide between making the lovey for my niece or making another ladybug. True confession, I went with the ladybug, but I also finished the lovey as well. So I'm going to try and show you the things that I did in order, as best as I can. So this is the ladybug I made after I finished the custom order for the loaf dog. I went ahead and made a fluffy yellow ladybug, and I just can't get over it. I just can't. So all told, so far that I've shown you, I have three ladybugs so far that I've shown you. Because I kind of need an intervention for my own pattern. And then this is the lovey that I made, and I used the Rye Rabbit pattern from the Mama Made Minis book. This is my first time ever making a pattern by them, and I love it. I can't wait to make the other critters. The other thing that's super new for me is I embroidered the eyes. Since I'm giving this to my just newborn, she's not even a week old, niece, I went with embroidered eyes so that it's safe for her to snuggle and cuddle with. And just look at that. I used almond and toasted birch, if I'm not mistaken, from a Bernat blanket. And the eye details, I used Lion Brand's Feels Like Butter in the charcoal, and I think it's, I don't know, it's like that light cream color over here. So another heirloom piece finished. So the first was the loaf dog, which I should include an updated picture here, because I reached out to my sister-in-law and asked her hey, this is what I have so far, anything that you would want me to add to her, and so on and so forth. And we added some fuzzy eyebrows just to give her a bit more character. And the second one is this one. Remember, recapping, that I set out to finish the dog, this one, and a blanket. And yes, spoiler alert, I did finish the blanket. I did. Mind you, I did not have a lot to finish it, which is why it's, I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's if all told, it just took me 3 hours all told. Oh, I mean, I did break it up into little segments, but if it only took me 3 hours to finish, why did I keep putting it off? That's just how it is. Then the other thing, because my goal, and this is kind of a relaxed goal, is to try and start using up the stash that I have. And if for some reason I have leftover yarn from a project, to try and find a pattern or something to also use the yarn that I already pulled out, instead of having it sit in my stash for a long time and probably never using it. So so this is my 4th Lolita Ladybug, and I use the same colors as the lovey, the bunny lovey that I made, and added some felt eyes to it. So again, tallying it all up, I have 4 ladybugs so far. I already pulled out colors for another one. I told you, I need an intervention. I just love that pattern so much. I can't wait to have it released. I already have another bug in the works, but I'm gonna keep it a little secret. Just because. Just because. Also, the other thing that I was able to make, and I was like, wait, I can definitely do this. I'm kind of scared. I have made, and I'll share them over here, I have made patterns that, well, designed patterns that aren't plushies. I've designed scrunchies, I've designed a kitchen curtain pattern, I've also, but I don't have it for sale anymore because I need to revamp the pattern. I have a blanket, and I think that's it in terms of, oh, and a headband, but again, those are I need to revamp them and whatnot. I freehanded a coaster for a candle, so it's a bigger coaster than you know, for your glasses and whatnot. So as I mentioned, I freehanded it to the size that whenever I'm lighting my candles, I don't want to damage the surface. Like if the candle gets to the very end, I don't want to like the heat to damage the surface and any sort of thing. So, good girl, good girl. That was Amy. I made a coaster for my candles, and I wanted to have like this really textured front side, and then I flipped it over to weave in my ends, and I like it even better. So I wasn't aiming for like a reversible design, but here it is. And the fact that this one is very textured, and over here it's like, I don't know if you can properly see it, but it's about that thick. So maybe it could even work as like a pot pad that you can put your hot pans and pots on it. I haven't written up the pattern yet. I am going to try and write it up soon and try and fix, because I don't know, like I guess it's okay, but I kind of don't like the little, because you know when you seam, you know, chain one and so on and so forth. I'll work on it and it'll come to like, it'll be amazing. Now to make this, it took me, and mind you, while designing the pattern, it took me about 40 minutes to make. Mind you, I was trying to see, I was playing around with my stitches. I was trying to gauge the size of it, and like, if I worked these stitches for these rows this way, if it looked different, and so on and so forth. So the fact that I was able to make, and this is like 6 by 6, it's a pretty big one. I did use a 6mm crochet hook, and I double-stranded Premier Yarns Hipster Cotton to get like this look. But I already pulled out some yarn. Fuzzies. I already pulled out some yarn to make it again in a solid color. That way I can also start taking process pictures for the pattern. After I finished all of that, I finished the blanket. But before I do like the major reveal, I still need to weave in all the ends. Well, okay, they are partially woven in, but for blankets, I like to secure my stitches with some fabric glue, some permanent fabric glue. So even though I did weave part of the tail in, or the ends in, I still need to add that little bit of glue, like in the stitch sandwich, so to speak. Wait for it to dry and then cut off the excess. I still need to do that, but I love it. And look, it's barely touching the floor, and it's that big. 54 inches long and 45 inches wide. And what I meant about partially woven in ends, so instead of like hanging out on the border, they've already been worked in to the other stitches. I just need to add a bit of glue. See where it's peeking out there? I'll add a little bit of fabric glue there to further secure the stitch. The pattern is by Jelly Donut Knits, and it's the Brayburn blanket. All links, everything will be in the description box. And I used, this is Premier's Basics Chunky. In the colors, it's Citadel. So it's birch, it's not jade, it's actually sage, and Citadel. And I did keep in the stitch markers, because again, it's one of those things, if it only took me 3 hours all told to finish it, why didn't I just like hunker down and finish it in just one go? I don't know why. But this is where I started 2 days ago. And then this is all that I had left to like to properly finish it up. It was just the last 8 or 9 inches to finish it. But yeah, it is what it is. So that's everything I've been doing in the past week. It was a pretty productive week, considering that I made 3 more ladybugs. I made a bunny lovey, a loaf dog, I finished a blanket, and yeah. I do have plans on starting another blanket. This one, it would be for one of my nieces. But I kind of want to play around with an idea that I have in my head. The look will be probably kind of like my crochet curtain pattern, but slightly different. We'll see, we'll see. So anyways, oh, and I forgot to mention that I designed a coaster. So, pretty productive week. What about you? Do you have any heirloom plushies that you plan on making, or keepsake pieces? Please let me down below. If you like today's video, you know, like the video, share it with a friend. Please check out the people that are just linked down below in the description box for any of these patterns. And yeah, follow along with me on my channel and on Instagram for when Lolita Ladybug is going to be released. So that's it for today. Have an amazing day, amazing weekend, or whenever it is that you're watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you back soon. Bye.